There is a world like our own, but not our own. In this world, humanity believes themselves the rulers of their destiny. They believe they are the center of the universe, overseen by whatever benevolent force they pray to. But this is all a lie. The real world lies in the shadows, in the spaces between, in darkened halls where mankind would fear to tread should they know it exists. It is a world of darkness, and in it, man is prey and not predator.
Welcome to the live show of the Tome Travelers. This episode, we are recording live from Comicpalooza with members of the original Camarilla fan club and our fans to dive into the world of darkness.
Fascinating Podcast presents The Tome Travelers.
So hello and welcome everybody. My name is John and I'm from Passion Early Podcast. If you're out there and walking by, please feel free to come over, have a seat, rest your legs, and do whatever you want to do.
We're going to talk about some old game books. So if you're interested in old RPGs, or even maybe some current ones, or even some both, then we are the people that like to talk about those things. You get very radio show announcer. when you're in front of people.
Do.
I don't.
It's that microphone. It gives me power.
No.
Yes.
No. But
right.
My name is Roxanne. I am his wife. I am co-host.
And my name is John. So we're going to go ahead and get everything started.
like
Please,
that.
hi everybody out there. If you want to come and have a seat and rest your legs, your feet, it is a long walk from one end of the hall to the other.
Are you going to just ask people to sit for the
Yes.
first 10 minutes of the show?
Absolutely. Why not?
No, just let
Hi
it
everybody.
happen.
How you doing?
Let it happen organically, John. Let it happen organically. I like that you have programmed into our notes for the audience to cheer for us.
Yay!
I think that was super.
It's really important.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
So the woohoo is not going to be
The woohoo.
Yeah.
Yes.
So hi. It's kind of cool to be here live, participating on the main floor. We've been coming to Comicpalooza for quite a while now.
Oh yeah.
We've gotten to meet Curtis Weeby, the creator of the Rat Queens, Felicia Day.
Felicia Day was awesome.
Of the geek community and Geek and Sundry and things like that. Joel Hodson from
Yes.
Mystery Science Theater 3000. All people way more popular and famous than us that would have this booth full
Oh my
if
goodness,
we had
yes.
them on our show, but we don't. So.
We don't today. But I love Comicpalooza.
It is a good con.
It is an amazing con. I love that you can actually walk down the halls and not run into people in your shoulder, not hitting people all the time, because there's some cons.
The halls or the lanes are definitely easier to traverse than, say, an unnamed similar con in Dallas that we've been to and, all but trampled.
Yeah. But so this
Are
is
you from Dallas? Are you? There you go.
Awesome. There you go. Loved what y'all did for Peter Mayhew.
Yeah.
So if y'all didn't know, Dallas at their con last week had a nice booth set up with a memorial for Peter Mayhew, where you could go up and sign a memorial for him, and also make a donation to the charity that he ran. So he was a cool guy. And he actually lived here in Texas. A lot of people don't know that Peter Mayhew actually moved to the Dallas Metroplex. So kind of a cool thing.
Has nothing to do with games.
No, it doesn't. So let's go ahead and get off on that, So this is our first year actually on the floor and participating in Comicpalooza. Saturday this morning we were supposed to be on a panel. I was going to be discussing, how do they phrase it? Visual mediums?
No, it was creating content in a visual medium, which we don't really do.
No,
but they wanted us there anyway, so whatever.
Yeah. Now tonight
we create content.
Yeah, we do create content. I know a little bit about the equipment.
But we're definitely not in front of camera people. We are behind microphone people. So.
Absolutely.
So
now, this evening we actually have an actual play. I'll be actually running the game. Roxy will be playing it, and it will be a D&D game tonight called The Goblin Raiders.
So yeah, if you're interested in that.
Our show is a retrospective of RPG gaming. We talk about all the role-playing gamings and how they've come around over the last 30, 40 years.
Gamings, role-playing gamings.
Role-playing gamings.
You get radio voice and forget how to talk all at the same time.
It is a talent that works well for podcasts.
Nice. For edited podcasting,
Yeah.
not live shows.
So we're talking about the World of Darkness 9. Now, this is a setting and a system that was created in a world that, at the surface level, is just like our world, but you dig deeper and darker it gets. So it's about ghosts, ghouls, werewolves, magicians, mummies, demons possessed, malign spirits, and so much more.
Everything else.
Yeah.
If you can imagine it and it spooks you, it's in the world of darkness.
Yeah, but imagine if you're a fan of, what are they calling it right now? It's like urban fantasy.
Urban fantasy.
Fantasy. If you love all those style of books, then the World of Darkness is pretty much the game system meant for you.
Vampires, stuff like that. If you're into any of the going trends in supernatural television, the World of Darkness is one of the better ways to incorporate those themes into a game, into a role-playing game, using a pretty good system. And we'll get into the system a little bit later, but
this is the mainstream heavyweight horror RPG setting. If you like games like for RPG gamers like Chill, Little Fears, Cult, those are kind of the Fangoria magazine level of horror. Well, then this is the Blumhouse and Dark Castle of horror. This is the blockbuster, summer movie flick level of horror.
Is Dark Castle? Are you trying to say Castle Rock?
No, there is actually a Dark Castle fan film. They're not fan films, but they actually remake horror films from the 50s and 60s.
Oh, okay.
So that's their claim to fame.
And they're mainstream blockbuster horror that are remaking movies from the 50s. Are they making them way better than the ones from the 50s?
House on Haunted Hill was one of their movies. Hey, whatever you want.
I mean, the show was good.
The show was amazing.
The Netflix show was good.
Yeah.
But the movie.
Yeah. Well, by the late 90s, White Wolf Publishing overtook Call of Cthulhu in sales, claiming its place in horror gaming history as the big one.
I can imagine that because Cthulhu, even though a lot of people know all about like Lovecraft and Cthulhu, and it's almost kind of seems like it's kind of really fad right now. A lot of Cthulhu stuff is coming out, lots of board games and things the last 10 years or so. But this is dealing with Call of Cthulhu doesn't deal with ghosts and demons and spooks and stuff like that.
But it is a major mythos. It is a powerhouse.
It is, but I can imagine that White Wolf and World of Darkness overtook that pretty easily because of the sheer scope of
what
all
they did,
the supernatural horror and things like that it incorporates.
Yeah. Now, the World of Darkness has its origin prior to White Wolf Publishing, even though that's kind of what they're known for in 1991. A lot of people think that Black Dog Game Factory was the origin, but that was just an imprint for White Wolf Publishing. In fact, the origin of the World of Darkness is instead a company that was once called Lion Rampart. Now, we've actually in our show talked about Lion Rampart a few times before, and Lion Rampart is kind of a hidden gem. It started off a lot of people's careers. It was originally founded by Mark Ryan-Hagen and also alongside Jonathan Tweet. Now, a lot of people don't know these names I'm throwing out because they're not into the publishing side as much as I am, but Jonathan Tweet is essentially the guy who was involved in the writing of D&D 3rd edition alongside Monty Cook. He is responsible for what is now the superpower that is D&D. I mean, he's one of the three big names that relaunched that after, Gygax. So, really kind of an incredible thing that he was involved in this.
But he doesn't do anything with RPGs now,
right? Jonathan Tweet?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he owns Atlas Gaming.
Yeah, but Atlas Gaming makes a lot of card games.
They do, but they still make role-playing games.
Do they? Okay.
He's actually going to come on the show this season.
Oh.
So that'll be a really good thing when we get him on here.
You got to tell me these things before I say things about our future guests that might not sound too great.
Yeah, but so who else came out of Lion Rampant? We have Lisa Stevens. Now, Lisa Stevens, amazingly, if you are a gamer, you know that sometimes we live in a gaming world that is very gender biased. People like to think that men have the claim to role-playing games, and it is our territory. But here's the thing: Lisa Stevens came out of Lion Rampant, which is the basis for Rampart. Rampant.
You got it both ways in our notes here.
Well, we'll figure it out later.
We'll edit it in.
They don't exist anymore. They can't be offended.
You'd be surprised.
But Lisa Stevens went on from this small company to now being a part of the foundation of Wizards of the Coast. And then she now is the president and owner of Paizo. Now, Paizo puts out Starfinder, Pathfinder, and is this huge blockbuster company that oversees everything. And she was claimed about 2-3 years ago in Time magazine as the most powerful person in the RPG publishing industry in the world. Now, this means that a woman, yes, is the most powerful person in role-playing games. So I just want to toss that out there. I think that's kind of a really cool fact.
That is cool.
Now, Nicole Lindros, who is also a huge name now, she is the co-owner of Green Ronin Publishing, which if you are a Critter and also a D&D fan, the Critical Role Tal'Dorei campaign guide was put out by her company. Now, recently, if you are aware, the Critical Role, which is where this all comes from, they just did a Kickstarter for an animated TV series based off of D&D and their campaign games.
I think the world knows about that.
Yeah,
The $10 million Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah.
That funded in. It funded in an hour.
Yeah,
$10
million
over $1 million, I think, in an
campaign
hour.
for an animated story based on a game somebody's playing. Like not an original piece of fiction. This is literally some people were sitting around a table and their game
It's an original piece of fiction. You can't say that. It is an original piece of fiction that was made by a game master, but it started as a game, not a...
True.
So you
Okay.
don't hate.
But the thing is, her company is the company that put out that game book. Now, also, if you're a video game fan and you've heard of a little game called Dragon Age, that is also her company that puts out the RPG for that. So, and if you will like the TV series, what's the big sci-fi TV series right now?
The Expanse.
The Expanse.
They do have an Expanse
They
RPG
put out the
coming
RPG
out
for that.
very soon. So they've done the Game of Thrones. The Song of Ice and Fire is also Green Ronin.
Yeah.
It's Green Ronin.
Okay, my bad.
We got schooled on the correct pronunciation of their company name
by Chris Promise.
By the owner.
Yeah.
Here at Comicpalooza just a couple years ago. And I was like, sorry, I've only heard American people say it.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know.
It's like we've all heard of the animated TV series Ronin Warriors. That's even how they said it in the TV series.
Apparently, we're all
saying it wrong. Yeah.
So, moving on.
But so Mark created the concept of Vampire the Masquerade on the road to Gen Con 23 in 1990 when he was in the car with Stephen Wyke. Now, Stephen Wyke is an amazing person, but we'll talk about him on another show.
Yeah.
So on the road, they came up with this idea, and they ran Lion Rampant, or Rampart, or whatever it is. It was a volunteer-based.
You need an editor for your
company.
notes.
I probably do.
Even though you're the only one who sees them.
Yeah.
This is pretty bad, babe.
Yeah. Well, he ran this company.
And it was volunteer-based.
Volunteer-based. Everybody volunteered to take part in it. They weren't getting paid up front. The writing, the artwork, the editing, the communication, and getting their name out there, that was all volunteer-based from people directly out of college. And we all, if you're directly out of college, you know what it's like to be in debt. And to be putting this much time into something on the side is pretty cool.
And not get any payment for it. That's passion.
That is a lot of passion. Now, where does the White Wolf name come from? Because it's called Lion Rampart. Oh, I'm just going to go with that right now. That's what I've heard before.
I think that's correct. I think that's the actual name.
Lion Rampart joined forces with a magazine that was called White Wolf Magazine. Now, White Wolf Magazine was a overall just crazy, over-the-top, everything in gaming and fantasy magazine, which was a lot of fun, actually. And they talked on everything out there. And White Wolf actually comes from a Michael Moorcock book.
Oh, okay.
So Michael Moorcock wrote a book series involving a character called Elric the White Wolf. And so that's where it all started. So even though White Wolf is now associated with vampires and werewolves and everything else, their name got started out of a fantasy story.
Mm-hmm. And I actually just saw an article the other day discussing how much his writing has influenced fantasy roleplay games.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the decade, so it doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. Now, out of White Wolf, I mean, in the original World of Darkness, we have, I'm just going to go through the titles because this is a lot.
And
we
you've
have
probably heard of some of them.
Yeah, Vampire the Masquerade, Vampire the Dark Ages, Victorian Age Vampire, Werewolf the Apocalypse, Werewolf the Wild West, Werewolf the Dark Ages, Mage the Ascension, Mage Sorcerer's Crusade, Dark Age Mage, Wraith the Oblivion, Wraith the Great War, Changeling the Dreaming, Dark Ages Fae, Kindred of the East, Hunter the Reckoning, Mummy the Resurrection, Demon the Fallen, and Orpheus. And this was all only in their first half.
White Wolf the Gaming.
Yeah. Now,
So many colons.
after a reset and a relaunch, they started over in 2004, and they put out a whole nother line of books called Vampire the Requiem, Werewolf the Forsaken, Mage the Awakening, Promethean the Created, Changeling the Lost, Hunter the Vigil, Geist the Sinner Eaters, Mummy the Cursed, Demon the Descent, and Beast the Primordial. Because everything needs that V, right? V.
The has to be the only one.
Game the adjective.
I don't know if those are I don't know if those are adjectives. I think
Well, whatever they are.
whatever.
Whatever they are. I am a podcaster. I don't teach you.
It is a naming convention that has been oft repeated with Magic the Gathering and
Oh yeah.
although now I can't think of anything else, but I sell a few games at the shop that follow that naming convention.
Yeah, it was big. Well, I mean, even we talked about the weird Christian role-playing game, Rapture, the Second Coming.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, crazy
But it was
stuff.
White Wolf too, wasn't it?
It was people from White Wolf, but
that's
they
right.
published it on the side because White Wolf didn't want to touch it.
I don't want to touch it.
Yeah. So, in this time period, the question is, how many books did White Wolf Publishing actually publish in these two massive settings? So, overall, White Wolf put out 365 books just for the World of Darkness. Now, that means that if for this show we wanted to just talk about only the World of Darkness, we could do an entire year every day doing one book for this company.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to do it either. And this doesn't
I
even
do
touch
not
on the
want.
fact that they also put out, the Aberrant and the Trinity series, Scion.
We've already talked about Aberrant.
Yeah. So, I mean, you add that plus their fiction
Yeah.
lines, and you could literally, now, and we release our show twice a month. So, we could have material for the rest of our lives if we only dealt with this.
I'm happy that we're not.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
glad that we're not White Wolf the podcasting. That's
Yeah.
not what I want to be.
So, but yeah, so on top of that, they also published the Sword and Sorcery line, Trinity. They bought out Art House Gaming, which did, of course, the Big Eye, Small Mouth anime role-playing game system. And at the same time, they put out video games. Hunter the Reckoning was a great video game. There are two computer games, a vampire.
Now, isn't there an upcoming?
Yeah, there's actually a
game?
vampire computer game that is being made right now that is going to be coming out.
Bloodlines 2.
Of course, everybody knows about the new publishing, but we'll get to that. So they also put out a slew of card games and board games, and had one of the largest living fan clubs in the world with the Camarilla, spanning over 7 nations, with role-playing games that happened exactly at the same time concurrently. So a game that was happening in Seattle was also a game happening in Dallas, which was also a game happening in London, which was also a game happening in Germany, all at the same time.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Is all of the, well, I guess I'm just asking, don't correct me, just
no.
educate me. Is the cam, all of it, was it a LARP?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, there were people who could not LARP physically. Maybe they lived someplace really isolated, or they just had mobility issues, which is also a problem.
Right.
There was an online community. So there was actually a place where you could go online and be a part of a chapter online and role play there.
Right. Okay.
So, which is also really good.
So, if you don't know what LARPing is, most of our audience probably does, but live action role play where you actually dress up like vampires and you.
Yeah.
I don't know. This was before my time in gaming,
Okay.
and it was actually mostly before my time as an adult. So I wasn't into any of that, but I don't know if they actually bit people on the neck or anything.
Oh God, no. And a lot of other LARPs out there, like Amtard, people
act
run
like
around with
people
little
don't
foam
do
swords
that.
and hit each other and whatever. Vampire, no, we were classy and we played paper, rock, scissors.
Classy.
Yeah, we were classy and
I've
we
seen
played
pictures.
Yeah.
I don't know if classy is the word that
Yeah.
I would use to describe your cam group.
And if you were powerful enough, you had the bomb, which could only be defeated by the scissors.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding you.
You
this
added
is
a
true.
bomb?
Yes.
Get
Because
out.
certain vampires were a little bit more powerful
This
than
is
others.
why you were single for so long. Just
More
throwing it out
likely,
there. You had a bomb in rock, paper, scissors.
Yes. So. But now the thing is, going on from this property, it still got even bigger. There was a TV show created by John Leakley. Now, you might not know his name, but you probably know
But you might.
the Spawn animated TV series, Wolf Lake, starring Lou Diamond Phillips, and all kinds of other TV shows that he has done over the time, kind of in the same genre of nerddom,
Oh, look, it's another one. Kindred the Embraced.
which is Vampire the Masquerade, the TV series. And it came out the exact same year as Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
1996. How
Yep.
I longed for thee.
Yeah, and
I was
so
in the 6th grade.
yeah, side
I
by
didn't know about
side. Can you
Kindred.
imagine? I mean, there were so many TV series all at the same time right there. I mean, Poltergeist Legacy, Tales from the Crypt, Goosebumps, Forever Night, Are You Afraid of the Dark, The Outer Limits. These were all out that year. And I mean, I think it would be so cool to go to all that horror and fun supernatural stuff on TV. I mean, I don't know about any of the rest of you, but were you, any of y'all the kids that would get up and sneak out and go watch the, you know, the TV shows that were on after dark that your parents said, you can't watch that, you know?
No, that's just your parents. I had a TV in my room that I wasn't supposed to watch after dark.
But you
Or
did.
after like 10 o'clock when I was asleep.
But you did.
But I just turned it down really low and sat really close to it.
Now,
With my American Cable Vision slider box.
yeah.
I'm gonna watch Wings, Mom. I don't care.
So, who was on this TV series? We have Stacey Heideck from True Blood and Superboy, Bridget Branagh from the Hulu series Runaways and Angel. We have Jeff Kober from Sons of Anarchy and The Walking Dead, C. Thomas Howell from the Punisher TV series Animal Kingdom and Grimm, Brian Thompson.
You have C. Thomas Howell listed just on these TV series?
Just
Wasn't he in a bunch of movies?
Yeah, but you know, I was trying to keep
Like,
it to things
wasn't
that
he-
our audience at Comicpalooza would know about. You know, comics.
Has no one heard of The Outsiders? I mean, he was Pony
Ha.
Boy in The Outsiders.
Ah, I see a great response.
He was also in a very probably racially insensitive film now called
Probably.
Soul Man.
Yeah. But Brian Thompson, who was in 911, Mortal Kombat, and a million Star Trek roles as Klingons and other things. So the reason the TV series ended was because Mark Frankel, who played the lead actor, died in a motorcycle crash.
You didn't mention him up here. Oh well, I guess he didn't do it.
Yeah, he didn't do unfortunately a lot after that.
Yeah, I stuck my foot in my mouth on
Yeah.
that one. Whoops.
No. And the studio, however, decided not to recast the role, and it shut down after the first season. So, yeah. The question is, what happened to White Wolf at this point? So, White Wolf was bought out by Paradox Entertainment and a company called CCP in order to create a new MMO. The idea was they were going to take the Vampire the Masquerade and turn it into an MMO with the intent to take on games such as City of Heroes, and also to take on the big one like World of Warcraft. And at the time, it sounded like a great idea. And the artwork that came out was wonderful. But technology and everything else was advancing so quickly, it was like, it's not going to happen, because every time they made the game, they would have to update. So it went dead.
I mean, that's what all the other ones have to do too. But I guess
Yeah.
trying to do both is probably a little bit more difficult.
Now, like I said, the game pretty much died out for a while, but it was bought out by two different companies. Not so much bought out, but the licenses were purchased to put out games. And that was Onyx Path and By Night Studios. And we owe them a lot of thanks, because they are the reason that the game is really still around.
Right. Onyx Path is a good company too. I don't know
Yeah.
if any of the gamers in the audience are familiar with it, but they do some good games.
Onyx Path puts out a game called Pugmire,
Yeah.
which is a game where you're
Your dogs.
dogs
Like in a fantasy setting, you're anthropomorphized dogs, and so and like your breed is your occupation is also based on your breed. So like a shepherd is a shepherd, but you know, just imagine dogs walking on two legs and wearing
armor.
fantasy clothes.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's cute.
So
That's why we like it.
yeah. Now, so those two companies tried to, did a really good job of resurrecting the fandom, and in October of 2015, White Wolf launched again. This time, however, it was as an overseas company. Now, White Wolf originally started off in the southern United States. It was in Georgia and Mississippi. That was where the two publishing companies started out.
Yeah.
Now, it went overseas and is over in Europe, mainly in Germany, but now in England. But so it would publish 2 books recently. The White Wolf Publishing published 2 books before major backlash over the publishing, because it turned out some of their stuff was a little insensitive, and there was a lot of question of the people that they hired. So
yeah, it was pretty bad. A little insensitive is a very polite way to say some of the stuff that went down. But if you're interested in a lot of gamer drama, and I don't know if that was particularly because it was now European versus.
There was a little bit of. There were some people out there that were very upset that they weren't going to have a Chicago by night book or a New Orleans by night book coming out directly from the company. A lot of people were upset that the main setting was going to be in Europe. And I can kind of understand that, but at the same time, when I played the game, I rarely ever ran it there. I always ran it in some place I actually knew. So
yeah, it's an RPG. Play it wherever you want. You don't have to. You don't necessarily have to have a setting book. There's Wikipedia. 2019, guys.
Now, the White Wolf properties will continue to be sold, though, and it is continuing. This is not the end of it. This is not the death of it. It actually got taken over by Modiphius. And Modiphius is the big company now in gaming, for Europe, at least.
They're big in the UK, sure.
Let's go over their properties. We're talking about Star Trek.
They do Star Trek Adventures. They do...
the cup there,
the cup here, yeah. They do... they just did John Carter of Mars, is one of their newest. They've done a Fallout miniatures game. What else are they doing? Conan... Adventures in an Age Undreamed.
They just recently acquired, and I'm very happy for him, they recently acquired Seventh Seas. And it's going...
Octung Cthulhu, which is a supplement to Call of Cthulhu by Chaosium.
Yeah.
So they are a big company. I just don't know if I would say they are the gaming company right now. I still think some of the big guys like Wizards of the Coast and Paizo are vying very, very securely for that title. So.
Absolutely. But, so the company is continuing. It's alongside Modiphius, and I'm very happy for that because Modiphius puts out great products.
It is a great company, yes.
And at the same time, we got to kind of wonder what happened to all the video games and all the properties, because intellectual properties go for different ways that it can be published. There's going to be a right for it based on computers. There's going to be a right for it based on RPGs. There's going to be a right for it based on video games. So I'm really cool to say that, very happy to say. I'm cool to say.
I'm very cool when I say
that Harebrained Schemes is going to now be putting out the new games for White Wolf. Now, Harebrained Schemes put out the games for Shadowrun and the games for Battletech recently. So out of that company is going to now spring forth the new Vampire the Masquerade games and everything else. And I could not be more excited. So
yeah, no, it's still going strong. Modiphius has just put out, let's see, so we have the Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition.
Yeah.
They have storytellers kits for that. The system is a great system. We didn't even talk about the mechanics of the system like we usually do, but
usually not. I didn't know if we'd have enough time.
The storyteller system is a nice system. If you're not familiar with it, it's a dice pool building system. So you have your stats and you have pips up to like 5 pips per stat attribute. I guess is the proper term.
Take your attribute, take your stat, put them together. You get a number, and that's the amount of dice you roll.
Yep.
And like all gamers, I love rolling a lot of dice. Like the more dice I have that I can roll at the same time, the happier I am.
Yeah, if I can roll like 7 or 8 d10s or more in one sitting, I'm like, yes. I don't know if it's like that little kid in me that's just like, all the things, I own it all. Unless you roll all ones, and then it's really sad. Yeah. But yeah, so it's still going strong. They just released the new Camarilla book. They've also released the Anarch as a clan. Is that what they call it?
It's kind of like the Camarilla and the Anarch are competing factions. Clans can still be a part of it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And there's another faction out there that will eventually come out called the Sabbat.
So all that stuff is still coming out. It does use a new proprietary dice system that is a little different than what they've done in the past.
Yeah, it is.
But There is currently an actual play online called LA by Night that is done by Geek and Sundry that is pretty good if you're interested in seeing how the system is played.
And it actually features the person running the game actually works for White Wolf and is amazing. He actually is very good.
Yeah, so he knows the system, and he is one of the people that has kept it alive for a while. So that's it for us today, though. We're running out of time, so we have enjoyed our time here at Comicpalooza. And again, this is John, and I am Roxanne, and we are Passion Nerdly.
And this was the Tome Travelers.
Yep. PassionNerdly.com if you'd like to keep up with us. We thank you guys.
Oh, and by the way, everybody out there, we actually have a little bit of swag really quick. I got some Passion Early pins up here. They are completely free, some lanyard pins. Please grab them. And thank you all so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Podcast presents The Tome Travelers.